everyone, Chocolo here. What time is it, to hear you ask? It's tier list time. Yes, of course it is, as you can tell. Yes, we have another tier list, a special Easter edition one. So basically what is it about? It's tiering or ranking the best mini eggs, chocolate mini eggs to be precise. Yeah, so those who don't know, tier list essentially it's a basically you can do it however you want really, but I guess the official way of doing it is via a Tiermaker sort of website essentially. They allow you to upload some images, basically, yeah, and then you can sort of move them around with your mouse and put them wherever you like. So I can move them into any of these tiers that are available. Now I can configure these tiers as I want. I could rename stuff like this. I started to rename them. I think Epic Choc, Epic Fail, and stuff like that. But it kind of just lost its focus. Really, it became a bit too. Is something really an epic fail? Is it really an epic choc? It's I don't know. You know what I mean? It became a bit too sort of dependent on semantics, really. So I abandoned that idea and just kept it to the default, which is S, A, B, C, and D. So S being the best, super special, whatever you want to say, and D being the worst. There's no F for fail or anything like that. It's literally just D's the worst, S is the best, basically. I think S, those of you familiar with beat 'em up, Street Fighter or whatever, and maybe Animal Crossing as well. What's it called? Home Academy. They rank your house, don't they? And rank your home, with an S rank, and perhaps even higher. I don't know. I've never got higher than that, but there you go. Yeah, so that's the gist of it. So S is the best, D is the worst. So there we are, really. So also I'm doing this as a premiere as well on YouTube. First one I've done, I think. So what it means that is that basically I can and other people can chat at the same time. Hopefully, anyway. I think that's how it works. Well, if not, then ignore what I'm saying. But you should be able to chat at the same time. So I'll be there as well. Hopefully not on my own, but I could be. But I'll be there in the chat. If you're there as well watching this live, or say live as it's dropped or whatever, as it's showcased or premiered, whatever it is, then you should see me in the chat window as well. There'll be a chat option somewhere along the bottom, and we can even watch the chat replay as well. But if you're watching this in playback or catch up, whatever, hope you enjoyed it as well, and I hope you're enjoying it live as well. And I'm sure I'll be chatting to you now. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on with it. So I've got, as you can see, there's a massive amount, a huge collection, array, sample, I don't know what you'd say, of a chocolate mini egg, mini eggs at the bottom, really. So I could have missed some, apologies if I have done. Might be some glaringly obvious ones I missed that I just haven't thought of or forgotten about, but they're generally all ones I've reviewed in the past, or I'm about to review, or have reviewed, or want to review, or have tasted at some point. Is the gist of it. So there we go. So yeah, quite looking forward to this, really. Should be quite a good one. As I say, could have forgot some. I hope I haven't, but there's a lot here. I think it will definitely be enough to keep us going. So yeah. So without further ado, let's go with it, I guess. Yeah. So okay. Well, the first one I could just pick them at random. Might change the order at some point, or do them at different. Pick random ones or whatever. But gist of it is, I'll probably start at the top left, I think, and why not? So we've got Aero purely chocolate. Aero chocolate eggs, what are they called? They're purely chocolate mini eggs, I think it is. So just review these ones actually, and basically. Those who don't know, Aero, it's like a sort of aerated chocolate. It's Nestlé's equivalent of a Cadbury's Whisper, pretty much. I've always thought it's Whisper's poor cousin, really. It just doesn't really taste as good. It's not as nice, generally. The bubbles are too thick. But in these mini eggs, the bubbles were a lot thinner, a lot more, not thinner, but smaller. And it made it a lot more velvety and a lot nicer, and the chocolate a lot more smooth. Really like these, very nice they were as well, very impressed. But I don't know why I didn't do a Cadbury's Whisper. I think I said this last year and I'm saying it again because I always come up with this when I talk about the Aero ones. Why didn't I do a Cadbury's Whisper mini egg? I mean, I did do all these other ones, Dime, Milky Bar, Dairy Milk, Oreo, Cadbury's White, even done Cadbury's Whites, and just normal mini eggs, of course. Why don't you do Cadbury's Whisper mini eggs? That's a contentious, but I just don't get it at all. But anyway, digressing a bit, but surely they should do. It's just bizarre, isn't it? They do Cadbury's Whisper bites and things. Why not just do a limited edition Cadbury's Whisper mini egg for Easter? It boggles my mind that they haven't done that, and it's so obvious. But anyway, crackers. But anyway, digressing. Okay, Nestle Aero mini eggs. Yeah, well, some people in the chat, I remember Scotty was saying he really enjoyed the mint. Well, I think Andrew Winter's got the mint version of these as well. But long story short is, the mint ones I'm not too, I can take or leave mint chocolate generally. I don't mind it. It's not my favourite thing in the world. There's different permutations and variations of it, but generally Aero mint, I don't know, never really done it for me that much. I don't dislike it, but I don't. I'd rather the normal one, and I wouldn't really rather have the normal one either, really. But these sort of mini ones, the Bubbles were great, just the right size, really made it a lot more velvety, made the chocolate a lot nicer, because Nestle milk chocolate's not the best either, but in these ones, really recommend these actually if you've not had them. You might dismiss them as I have done. It's just not been that great, and they're not bad, not bad. I don't think they're an S, but I think they're definitely an A. Definitely an A, those ones. Really impressed with those, like them a lot. Really recommend them, yeah. Not the best chocolates in the world, but they just work very well. They work very well. Yeah, very happy with those. Okay, so we've got the cabbage cream eggs. Well, here we go. I mean, what can we say? I mean, these are pretty much a staple, aren't they? But these are the mini eggs. These are the sort of mini versions of this. So the big ones, quite about the size of a normal egg, probably, give or take a bit. But they're pretty much the size of a normal egg. Very gooey, very liquidy, very runny. Very lovely, really. Very nice, very nice. And then, probably not, the best thing ever, but they're definitely a sign of Easter. A staple, really good. But the mini ones, unfortunately, they're not runny in the middle, just solid sugar. I don't know. They just don't quite. They've not. I don't know what they've done. They've messed it up somehow. They're just like a solid centre, not runny, and it's like a very thick chocolate, so you hardly get any centre as well, and it's really solid. I think they still managed to get the colours in there, so it looks like has a sort of fondant centre, by the way, that looks a bit like the middle of an egg, and they're covered in chocolate, so it's like a white and a sort of an off yellow colour. It looks just like relatively looks like a middle of an egg, basically. But it's a complete solid in this one. It should be really runny and sticky, and it's what it's all about, a cream egg. But these mini ones, they just aren't runny. They're totally solid on the inside. Powdery, just not very nice. They still melt in your mouth a bit, I guess. But yeah, they just don't work at all. These ones. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure. I think these are pretty much a D. The chocolate's not that great in them either. I think these are a real fail. These. Yes, we should be an F, really, shouldn't we? I was talking about that before, but just really not great at all. Disappointing those ones. Disappointing, very much disappointing them. Yeah, real shame. I don't know how they managed to mess those up. To be honest with you, I don't know how they managed to mess them up, but they've done it somehow. Yeah. So yeah, more Cadbury's ones as well. And perhaps maybe we should mix them up a bit. But there's plenty going on. We'll do a Cadbury one. We'll do this Cadbury ones, then we'll skip again. Yeah, so these ones, this dime one. So dime, those I'm sure most of you do know, but those you don't, it's sort of like it's like an almond, a solid almond caramel. Really, really chewy and gorgeous, actually. The dime bar normally. It's quite thin, quite a small bar now. I think is it Swedish? I'm not sure. But anyway, wherever it's from. And it's a lovely, covered in milk chocolate. It's a lovely milk chocolate as well. Really distinct bar, not really like anything else. Very nice. So what they've done here is they've basically put chunks of it, little chunks inside a dairy milk chocolate egg. Dairy milk's really nice. Dime's really nice. So surely this is going to be really nice. Well, how can they mess it up? They've managed it. I mean, what they've managed to do is they've just put the dime chunks are so small that they don't work as dime chunks. So you get a sort of vague taste of it. But they're not chewy. They don't stick in your teeth. You can't chew on it. There's no substance there. It just gives you a taste of dime, but there's no real substance. There's a few crunches in there, here and there. And then also what that does is it then detracts from the dairy milk taste as well. So you don't get the benefit of the dairy milk chocolate because you can taste dime. You don't get the benefit of the dime because you can't chew it. So you ended up with something that's just not great at all, and it's a real shame. And it's tempting to give it it just does not. I mean, how can they mess it up? You've got two of the best things there is. And you combine them, and they're so much worse than some of the parts. I mean, they're not awful. It's a borderline D or a C, I think. I can't really. You know what I mean? They're not terrible. I mean, I think I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt, give them a C. They're not terrible. They're not like the. I mean, the mini cream eggs really missed the. I mean, they're not terrible, but because you know what they should be. That's why they're a D, really. And I guess you could say maybe the dime, what it should be. But it doesn't taste... It's still a solid chocolate, and it's still got crunchy bits in. It just about manages to be a C. So there we go. That's the gist of that one. Yeah, that's the gist of that one. Okay, let's move on a bit. So we'll skip a few ahead here, just because we've done a few Cadburys in a row. We'll go up to this these linked ones here. Now, these are sort of... basically... they're just chocolate eggs essentially, but they're sort of like milk. They've got like a milk cream center, and it's not white chocolate. It's like a milk solid milk creamy scent or something. It's a bit of a funny one. So basically it's covered in milk chocolate. Not too bad actually, you know, not too bad. I don't think they're gonna win any awards or anything like that, but they're quite nice. They're quite different. So it's not white chocolate. It's not overly sickly. It's not a sort of strong white chocolate taste. Not a strong creamy taste. It's not like a sort of Lindor sensor, you know, it's a really creamy, sickly. They're not too bad. They're just very distinct as well. Not like anything else really. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all, you know. And I mean, not as I say, not going to blow your socks off. They have that problem as well where they're not really eggs either. I mean, like the Aero ones I didn't mention either. They're not an egg shape. They're sort of two halves, symmetrical halves that have been stuck together, and so it looks like a capsule, like a tablet or something, rather than an egg. At least the cream egg and the dime ones do look like eggs. But yeah, so these ones are the same. I think they're not too bad. I think, you know, they're distinct. They're not like any of the others really. Not too bad. I think it's a good B one for those. They're not bad at all actually. They're a bit different. I'll say, you know, milk chocolate on the outside, sort of like a cream centre. Not well, milky centre. Different. You know, not bad at all. Those not bad at all. So now we've got let's have a look. We'll go to these Galaxy Golden. Now these ones, basically, I think they both existed. They coexisted for 1 year, I think, and I think now you just get the enchanted ones, which are these ones. So I'll move these up here as well. So we've just got. There is one off the screen actually. I've just realised there is actually there is a Reeses one off the screen here. Just one off the screen that you can't see, but so there is another one. It will pop up in a bit. So we do have an extra one there. Yeah. So just which is yes. So what was it? Yeah. So yeah, these this is golden eggs and these enchanted eggs. Both pretty much the same. I think the enchanted ones, the ones around now, rose gold ones, and there's the golden ones. Basically the same really. What it is it's a Galaxy chocolate sort of with a very thin spray, I guess you'd say, or whatever it is. I don't know, of either gold or rose gold colouring really. Rose gold one looks very distinct, very different, but unfortunately when you have it in hand, it doesn't look very rose gold. It looks more like brown gold really, and it's you know. Yeah, I mean that's the gist of it. It's more brown gold than anything else. You know what I mean? So it's a bit disappointing. Loses it. You don't really notice it unless you really look. To be honest with you, I mean they've got crunchy caramel pieces in there as well, hard caramel. They're okay. I mean they look better. I think it's more. They're all style over substance really. They're both the same. I'm going to rate them both the same. They are exactly the same other than the colour. You know, it's a very thin. There's no sugar shell either. You might be a lot of these eggs, or some eggs actually, not all of them, have a sort of a sugar coating essentially. It's like a bit like a Smartie or an M&M, and you bite into it. That's what a lot of them do. These Galaxy ones, you might be mistaken into thinking they've got that because of that coating, but they don't. They don't. It's a very thin coating, and it's just solid chocolate, which isn't too bad. But I think the caramel kind of takes away from the lovely Galaxy. What's really good about Galaxy is it's the chocolate. It's really nice, and I think it works sometimes with runny caramel, and there's one they do with a cookie crumble and things. But whenever they try and flavour it with anything, I tend to notice that it's not as nice. It doesn't do it for me. The chocolate's one of the only creamy chocolates that I really like, and it hasn't detracted from the taste. But with this one, I don't know. I just don't feel like the crunchy caramel quite works. There's not enough of it. I don't know. There's something not quite right. It's okay. It's okay. I think it's better than the Dairy Milk Dime one. I think it works better than that, and it's nicer than that. I think it's more distinct, and it's not too bad. I just don't think it quite works as well as you'd like, and it's not unpleasant. It looks nice. It's a solid egg as well, which I quite like. There's other solid ones there, of course, but it just seems to. I think because it's sprayed in half, whatever, and it's egg shaped. I don't think it's stuck together. Or it doesn't come. It just feels more solid. I think. The others are two halves generally stuck together. These probably are as well, to be honest with you. But it doesn't feel that way, and you don't get that impression because it's sprayed. It just seems to be quite a solid. It feels and it comes across as quite solid for some reason. Even though. Like the Cadbury's ones, are solid as well. They just don't seem to. I don't know. There's something about them which doesn't quite lend themselves to be feeling as solid for some reason. I can't quite describe that. Very odd one. You probably don't find that yourselves. Maybe it's just me, but hopefully it might make sense to you, in some way. So I think I'm going to rate them both at the same time. I'm going to give them both a B. I think They're not. They should be better, basically. I don't think that caramel in the middle is that great. I mean, it's okay. It just doesn't work as well as you'd think. Basically, it doesn't work as well as you'd think. So there we go. There we go. Yeah. So what else? Should we go back to the start? What do we think? Yeah, there's Reese's appeared now. You can see. Yeah, I think there's an orange one off the screen now. Yeah, okay, so what should we go for now? I'll tell you what we'll do this one now, because this one's one I reviewed a long time ago, and I think it's a bit similar to the, it's basically a Kinder mini egg, essentially. Not too dissimilar to the Lint one over here. A bit like a milk scent, and I can't quite remember it too well. I did have a look at my review of it. I reviewed it about, was it 4 years ago? Maybe 5. So I did have a look at my review, and I basically said, it's not too bad is the gist of it. It's a bit of a creamy centre. It's a bit like those, really. Not too bad. As I say, the Lindt mini eggs. Not too bad. It did have a bit of a crunch in it. Might have done, might have done. I think it had a bit of a crunch in it. Not too sure. But it was not bad. A bit of a texture. I think it's one of those where it's just like a milky sort of centre. Yeah, so, I think, long story short is, I haven't had it for a long time, but reading what I put in my review, watching what I put in my review, going by the Lindt one I just had not long ago, I think it's quite similar, as I say, so I'm going to give it a B as well, but that's one, kind of going off slightly bad memory, not bad memories, but a slightly, basically, a poor memory of what it tasted like. I'm just going off what I said in my review there, really. So, could be a bit of a controversial one to put that there, but I think it is quite similar, as I say, to this Lindt one over here. Okay, so jump back to the start then. Why not? So, dairy milk ones here. So, basically, just a solid dairy milk egg. Solid. By the way, those you might realise by now, I've not included the jingly bells, the noisette, and the whatever the other one was, I forgot what it was now. There was Noisette, Jingly Bell. I think it was the Little Robins as well, wasn't there? And there's another one as well, which was not quite Noisette, but I think it's just called Hazelnut Cream or something like that. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm not including them because they weren't strictly mini eggs, even though they technically are. But I didn't include them. If I've got to draw the line somewhere, there's loads of things that you could probably count as mini eggs. Yeah, but I didn't count those. You could even start saying, well, Lindor should be included and stuff like that. We're not. We're not. Although, having said that, there is a Lindor mini egg, but you know what I mean. Okay, but these are quite big. They're miniature eggs, these ones. So they're not really mini eggs, but they're not really full-size eggs either. So it's a bit of a borderline one, these ones. So you have to bear that in mind, I guess. But yes, these are solid dairy milk essentially. They're all right. I don't know what it is. Something about them, I don't know if it's the shape or whatever, they just don't seem to quite be as good as just enjoying a chunk of dairy milk. I don't know, they're okay. I think it's the fact that the shell's got like, it's like coated in something to make it so it doesn't stick, even though they're individually wrapped and things. I don't know, there's something about it. It's a bit, it doesn't quite do it for me like actual dairy milk would do. But it is nice all the same, it is nice. It's just something... Yeah, something about it really that, as I say, just doesn't quite do it for me like a regular dairy milk bar does. I don't know. So I think but they do hit the spot. They are nice. I think it's just the fact that they're just a bit uninspired. I don't know. I'm all for just chunks of chocolate, and I do like that. But I just feel like they're just a bit uninspired. I don't know. There just could be something a bit more about them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's more the fact that you kind of think, well, why aren't the mini eggs dairy milk? With dairy milk inside, or the cream eggs itself or something like that, you know what I mean? You just feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit of a lazy effort on Cadbury's part to get dairy milks into that. I feel like they could have done something a bit more about dairy milk, really, other than just that. So I think it's a B, basically. Not too bad, though. Not too bad. Now, these ones, just reviewed these the other day, these Ferrero, it's called Ferrero eggs, are they? I don't know if they're even called mini or miniature eggs, but they're not massive. Absolutely love them, basically. Long story short, I mean, Ferrero Rocher, if people are familiar with those, like a sort of weird sort of golden foil wrapped chopped hazelnut sort of chocolate ball covered in chopped hazelnuts, which are covered in chocolate, and then on the inside there's like a sort of wafer layer, and I think in between that as well, I think there's hazelnut in the middle, maybe some sort of like a creamy centre as well. Well, there's two versions of these Ferrero ones. I haven't reviewed the chopped hazelnut one yet, but I assume basically what it is in the centre it's like a liquid chocolate centre, quite thick chocolatey centre. then which is inside a sort of sphere of wafer. On the outside of that, there's like a dark milk chocolate. And it's really nice actually. Dark milk done right. It's one of the few products that does dark milk right. Basically, has it really tasty, really interesting, really nice. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, so I mean, the only one thing I would say about it is it perhaps just seems to be lacking in variety. Really, I don't know. It's really nice to taste that crunch when you're not quite expecting it for the first time. That wafer center, and then there's say the lovely smooth liquid chocolate, sort of thick chocolate center as well. Lovely, lovely, really is. So I think the chocolate hazelnut one would be more reminiscent of a Ferrero Rocher. But I would definitely prefer this because I'm not. I can take chocolate hazelnuts don't generally do anything for me. I don't dislike them that much, but I don't add anything to something for me really. So there's some chocolates that that do work for me with chocolate hazelnuts in, but generally I can take or leave them. So very happy with this one. Really liked, as I say, dark milk done right. Lovely, lovely wafer crunch. Lovely set of textures. Lovely smooth, thick center. Also that wafer as well is quite thick as well. It's lovely really. The way it sort of crunches into that velvety thick chocolate. Right, so it's not quite dark chocolate, as I say. The centre is the same as well. But for me, yeah, this is S tier for sure. Definitely great. It's really nice, lovely, lovely. Really like that. Really like that. Yeah, so we'll skip ahead a bit as well here. We'll skip ahead because we've done a few. Let's have a look. We'll just do. Yeah, let's have a look. We'll just. Yeah, we'll go to the. See, let's go to these Milky Bar mini eggs. Now, it's a bit of a controversial one. This one, controversial one. Because you'd think this is one where it's sort of Nestle Milky Bar, one of the nicest white chocolates out there, if not the nicest, even though it's a sort of mass-produced bar. It's gorgeous. Really like it. I don't know why. It's just some real substance to it. It's lovely, lovely taste. This one's covered in a sugar shell basically. I had some last year and reviewed them, and I felt like there was something not quite right about them. I thought, well, maybe they're a bit off or something. The shell had discoloured a bit, and I thought, well, okay, and it didn't quite taste quite right, and then rated them and everything. Anyway, I thought I'd re-review them this year, and I found the same again. And even though the shell wasn't discoloured this time, they're definitely in date and everything. There's nothing wrong with them. Not been left out anywhere or anything like that. I saw to it, knew where they'd been and things like this. And then, well, obviously, as soon as I bought them, I guess the ones could have been anywhere before I bought them. You know what I mean? It just stuff, yeah, there was nothing. Definitely perfectly fine, and yeah, still had that weird taste. Now I did speak to, I think, was it Scotty in the comments saying he didn't find anything wrong with them and stuff like this. But I don't know. Just for me, there's something not quite right about them. I think the shell has something wrong with the shell in my eyes, and it sort of seems to bleed into the chocolate as well, and it's just really detracts from the taste. I don't know. I mean, so you can't really even get the benefit of the white chocolate either. It's just something not quite right about them. Didn't dislike them, but they really didn't do it for me. Yeah, not like Nestle Milky Bar white chocolate normally does, which is really nice. Just something to it doesn't, yeah. It just didn't work. Didn't do it for me. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've had. There's another one of these. There's a couple of others of these actually that we'll talk about in a bit. They've got a funny tasting shell as well, and Scotty as well didn't notice actually. So I don't know if it's just me, sort of got some kind of I don't know, super shell sensory perception or something or whatever. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'm just, I don't know. But yeah, it's not the first time it's happened where as I say, the shells have been a bit dubious for me. So this one for me is controversially it's a C. Controversially it's a C. I mean, if the shell was fine, I think it would have to be an S or an A for sure, one or the other. But it's just something not quite right there, not quite right. Okay, so we'll go to the Smarties one now, mini Smarties. Yeah, so okay, let me go up to the edge. Wanted to get over there, but there we go. Okay, I'll do it that way. Yeah, so basically, Smarties, it used to be a tube. Well, it still is a tube, I guess. But it's like a hexagonal tube or something. I don't know what you'd call that, but tube. But yeah, so this one's basically it's just sort of egg-shaped versions of their Smarties. So slightly thicker chocolate, basically, with a sugar shell as always. It does seem to have a picture of an orange one on the front of here, but you do get these specific orange ones as well, because the orange ones are meant to be the only ones that have a different taste to them. Seems when I review them, I don't think there's that many oranges, or no oranges, I think. I'm not sure, but anyway. Yeah, just it's basically just pretty similar to Smarties, just a slightly thicker chocolate, nice crunch from the sugar shell. I say there are milk chocolate covered in sugar shell. It's Nestle milk chocolate. It's not the best. They're not unpleasant, no. You know, not unpleasant. I think they're sort of ones where, yeah, basically they do what you'd expect. They're not unpleasant, not great or anything. You know, I think it's definitely just a C really. You know, nice. It tastes like Smarties, do the job pretty well. Yeah, I like them. I like those. They're just a bit. They could just be a bit more exciting, I think. But they're, you know, they do what they do, and they do it pretty well. Yes, okay, so yes, let's have a look then. So where should we go now? So should we go, we could go back to the start. Yeah, we could keep going. I think we'll do with the, because we've got a Terry's chocolate orange one here. So we've got these Terry's chocolate orange ones here. These are new this year, I think, or relatively new. I think there's these white ones as well. Maybe the white ones are new. I'm not sure if they were around last year. They might have been actually, but these ones, yeah. So Terry's this year and last year actually have just released so many new products, and they've done lots of new bars, lots of new I did like a white chocolate versions of things as well, white chocolate egg, white chocolate segments. I say about 3 bars, cranberry and orange. They did one which was wonderful. Did one with biscuit pieces in, which was better the second time I tasted actually, but I was a bit disappointed the first time. Just a new bar, just a new general bar and things like this. They've just done lots of new stuff, and they've done, I say, these mini eggs as well. It might not be new this year actually. Maybe they were new last year, at least one of them. I think the white chocolate was new this year, but here's the milk chocolate version anyway. So Terry's chocolate orange, gorgeous. It's like the chocolate orange taste really, I think. I mean, I know other companies have done it this year and last year as well, really jumped on the chocolate orange bandwagon. But I still think Terry's is the best at it. Yeah, really nice, and I do love their selection range, the Terry's chocolate sensations. But the problem with this one, this is one of the others with the shell problem. Now the shell, they look really bright orange. I was just saying there. Bright orange, really bright orange. They're so they look like carrots almost rather than eggs. You know, they are shaped like eggs, but they, you know, almost could be. They're so orangey. They're a bit like carrots. Really, just look so orange. You know, and these little green bits at the top or something. And it's, yeah, and this, I think it's made. Is it carmine or whatever, and cochineal or whatever it is. It's made the colouring, and there's a real distinct taste to it actually, and I'm not too keen on it. It doesn't detract as much as the Milky Bar ones, but it detracts enough to take away from a bit of the taste. It's not bad though. It's not bad. It's not bad. I just think it's got a good crunch to it. It just doesn't quite. It's. I don't know. It's a bit too. Yeah, I don't know. It's a borderline, this one. I was a bit disappointed with it really. With that, as I say, it wasn't too. It's just every now and again you just got this funny taste. I'm gonna make it sounds worse than it is really. I think from me saying that, and I think I'm gonna still give it the benefit of the doubt and probably give it into an A tier, even though it does sound pretty bad from what I've just been saying. But I think they are nice though. It's just that there's it's a bit of an A B tier. If I had one in the middle. You know, I could just generate one now. Actually, I could just put another one in the middle. You know, yeah, I don't know. This one is probably an A B tier. You know what I mean? I think you've got to. I can't really add another A B in. You know, I think just because there's so many going to be in the B one, I think I'm going to distinguish it slightly. I think, but it does have a bit of a funny taste at times. There was something a bit off about it. I still remember enjoying them. You know what? I think I will. I will put it in there. I will put it in the B tier. I think it's just, yeah. You know, I'm going to fill it up really. Could go into my face. I think just that. I think I will. I can't. You know, I can't just put it in the A tier. There was something not quite right about it. Now, the same goes with the white chocolate ones. To be honest with you, but the white chocolate is really, 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 really well suited to the orange taste. It tastes almost just like you're eating an actual orange almost. I mean, it's still not I wouldn't say I'm exaggerating, but it's not, you know, obviously it's not, it is a bit more of an artificial taste, but it still tastes so good, and it is almost like you are actually, as I say, tasting a real orange. It's beautiful. Again, it has that slight taste that slightly detracts from the shell. It's the same difference. It's the same shell, really deep orange, looks a bit more like a carrot, and cochineal and carmine, whatever it is, you know. Bit of a mistake, I think, to do that. I don't know why they did it. It does detract slightly, but not enough in this case. This one definitely is an A. But as I say, it would be an S if it didn't have that taste. You know what I mean? It would literally be an S. It's got a lovely crunch. I'll say both of them got a nice crunchy shell. But it just, yeah, there's a funny taste in it, which I assume is the colouring. It might not be, but I can't see what else it would be. it's not just a regular sugar shell, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really. As I say, it would be an S, that one. We have a good shape going on here, but a good curve. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, it's an A1 really, but yeah, it's quite good. I'm quite impressed with that actually. It makes it look like it's it says it should be that. I think you'd expect the average to be B. But yeah. So just a shame. It should be an S. It just somehow messed up on the sugar shell, I think, really, which is a shame. So we'll do the KitKat ones next. These ones, I was really looking forward to these ones. I'm quite a big fan of most things about KitKats, really. I would say it's an Nestle milk chocolate generally. And KitKat's it's a two or four fingered chocolate covered wafer bar with sort of like chocolate cream in between the wafer sections. Usually flavoured to things like this, with other things. It could be mint or peanut butter layer sometimes or whatever. They do various things. Some of them are better than others. Peanut butter KitKat Chunky and also the mini KitKats, really nice, lovely. Or the KitKat, what are they called? Bites or something. Now these are the egg versions. Now you think these would be really nice based on it, but I was very disappointed with these, and the reason being was because they managed just about to have the taste of a KitKat. I didn't think they did at first, but then after a while I realised that they did. They did give you the feel of a KitKat, but insofar as the taste, but the textures weren't right at all. It was really mini pieces of wafer, and I think they had Rice Krispie pieces in as well, rather than just wafer, which is not KitKat. Not Rice Krispie pieces are not in KitKats. So it just stupid decision. Who did that? Why? Why? So and it was just too much chocolate. It was like a creamy chocolate centre as well. I don't know. I know you do have, as I did say, I have like a cream layer in between the wafer bits in KitKats, but it's not really the same thing. That's more like a sort of biscuit cream almost. This was just, I don't know, it just wasn't right. They'd not got enough wafer in it, and they'd put Rice Krispie pieces in it. It was like a weird smooth centre type thing. It just didn't work, and disappointing this one. So could argue it's a D1. I think, I don't think it's quite that bad. I think it's not quite, well, maybe it is, is it? Debatable. I think it's, well, it's difficult, I'm thinking about it. I mean, they've missed the boat a lot, really, with it. They're not unpleasant, yeah. You know what, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it's a D1. Disappointing. D for disappointing. There we go. Really disappointing. Missed the mark a lot on those. I don't think they're not as bad as that makes it sound out, really. I mean, neither the cream eggs, really. But, they're just really missed the mark on those. Could have been a really good, when you consider that these ones here have wafer in them, this did it perfectly. Beautiful. This one could have done something like that and didn't, you know what I mean? Just, the Ferrero egg was gorgeous with wafer in it, had no right to be that nice. And the KitKat one, just the opposite end of it, just totally got it wrong. Yeah, totally got it wrong. Okay, yeah, so what do we think now? So let's what have we got left? Let's get this Oreo one out of the way. Right, so Oreo one, Cadbury, Milky, they put Oreo in everything. It's boring, tastes really sickly, not very pleasant. It's meant to taste like Oreo. It doesn't taste anything like Oreo. Has like a sort of cream filling. Good dairy milk on the outside. It's not too bad. The cream filling is just sort of like a sickly nothing, and it's got pieces of sort of potentially or meant to be Oreo pieces in it, but they're too small. You can't taste them. It's just like one of these generic cookies and cream type centres. It doesn't taste of Oreo. It's definitely a D1. Let's just get that out of the way. Yeah, disappointing on again. And they keep doing them, and they never taste any better. It's just all these boring Oreo. But I quite like Oreo biscuits. Really like them. I think Rick was saying in the chat the other day, how good they are with milk, and they surprisingly are. I never really thought I'd bother with them, and I did try them at one point, and they were really nice. We just I think you take one half off and dunk it in milk, and it's the coolness of the milk and everything about it really works. But but these chocolate offerings, there's only one that works. I've said it before. It's the Oreo sandwich bar, Dairy Milk Oreo sandwich bar, where it's actually mini Oreos, a full Oreo, but in between the cream and the biscuit on one's half, there's just a layer of dairy milk chocolate, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's perfect. Imagine an Oreo with a layer of dairy milk as well as the cream. Amazing, genius, so simple. But then all these other Oreo products are just rubbish. Don't taste like Oreo. Don't really get the benefit. It's just got this horrible cream nonsense in it. Rubbish. Okay, yes, I think we could probably right. So let's go to these Galaxy. Well, I mean Galaxy. I mean, well, basically Galaxy Caramel eggs. I haven't seen them this year. These Galaxy Caramel mini eggs. Galaxy Caramel full size egg, just an egg with filled with caramel. I haven't seen them at all actually. Even the actual full size Galaxy Caramels this year. Maybe they're exclusive to a certain supermarket that I've not been in. See the Cadbury Caramel full size eggs, not mini eggs. But the full size caramel Galaxy Caramel eggs, it's really runny, lovely caramel, lovely Galaxy chocolate. Perhaps a bit too much chocolate, caramel rather. Really with a full of caramel. Really maybe a bit too much. You could argue. It's so thick and sweet, and But the mini ones, of course, they're small. They still obviously you can have as many as you like, so technically it builds up to about being about the same. But because they're smaller, the quantity is better. It's really nice. Really nice, these ones. Just got a lovely chocolate, lovely caramel centre. I don't think there's any other caramel ones on here, is there actually? There's no other just caramel filled ones. Really nice, these ones, I think they just work really well. Really lovely caramel. It might be a bit much to put them at the top, but I'm going to, really nice, just lovely caramel. Maybe a bit much. Like, could be, maybe they're a bit of between the A and the S, maybe, but, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to give a bit of a doubt saying it because I think it's just a really nice, lovely, lovely ratios, lovely proportions, filled with a caramel, but a smaller, as I say, smaller size. So, yeah, very nice those. Very nice. Galaxy chocolate and Galaxy. That's one of the combinations where Galaxy works with caramel, definitely, and the Cookie Crunch crumble ones work as well. But yeah, there's a few. They do okay, to be honest with you. It's just some of them, some flavors. I think when you try and flavor it, doesn't work. But that's lovely. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, lovely. So we've got the opposite end of the spectrum now. This is basically it's the same difference as the as the Cadbury Cream Egg. This one, this is their sort of Halloween offering. It's the only one that isn't really here that isn't actually an Easter product. It's the Halloween offering. I think I mentioned this. Andrew Winton a few times has mentioned that they used to do a Scream Egg version for Halloween. And they replaced it, which was basically the same, but rather than the yellow yolky type look to it, had a green filling to it as well as the white, which makes perfect sense. Brilliant, perfect. And that's what you think Go-Aheads were, but they're not. They're just the white bit. Why have they not put the green bit in? And then the mini ones suffer the same problem as the mini cream eggs, where it's a solid, whereas the full size ones are liquid. These ones are solid. All the same reasons. Even worse because they don't even make it green or have any sort of weird Halloweeny gunk in there, like green or red or something, make it look a bit horrible or whatever. Lazy, rubbish, D. All the same reasons as a cream egg, but even worse because they've not even got an equivalent for the yellow centre with like green or something. Yeah, rubbish. Okay, so now I've got these Lindor mini eggs. Now Lindor's for me, a lot of people there S rank straight away. Lindor's brilliant, but for me they're too sickly generally. They're just too big, too sickly. Ones I do like are the mini Lindors, which are literally mini round balls of Lindor. So they're smaller, basically the same but smaller. They actually are the right proportions for me. Really nice, well proportioned, not too sickly. Really good, really good. These ones though are just slightly bigger than those, and they just don't quite work as well. They're just a bit too big still, just a bit too sickly, just about. Yeah, they're just a bit too sickly. There's still a bad. This is an assorted one, so I think you've got milk and white chocolate. You might have dark chocolate as well, but basically there's white chocolate ones, there's dark chocolate ones. They're all and milk ones as well, I think. At least milk and white anyway. And you can get milk ones on their own and white ones on their own. White ones on their own and milk ones on their own, I guess. So they are nice, these ones, as I say, but just a bit too sickly still. They're just still a bit too thick, but they are better than the full Lindors for me. I do like them a lot. Quite, sort of, as I say, quite a sweet centre. Yeah, do prefer them. These they're very similar. Again, it's on the cusp between these two, really. I think for most people, this is probably a straight S straight away. But for me, as I say, they're just a bit too sickly, really. I think they're just a bit, bit too sickly. I think. What could I say? I mean, I feel like a B might be a bit too. Again, I think with these ones, I might give them the benefit of the doubt and put them because they're assorted. There's a few different types. I'm going to go with the A. It's quite close again. It could easily be a B on another day, but I think they are slightly better than the others. And I say there is an assortment there of different colours, chocolate, white and milk, and I think dark as well. Even white and milk's enough, you know. So I think that does it. And then, as I said, the portion's slightly better. Still slightly too big though. The better ones are where it's just the spheres, with the mini spheres, because they, you know, these eggs are obviously egg shaped, so the bottom of it is kind of the sphere almost. If they just didn't have that bit at the top, it's just the right amount of centre there basically. It's like a really creamy, thick centre. You know, it's not that's what Lindor's are about. If I didn't mention that before. So we've got these M&M's eggs now. I don't think these came out this year. I think they were out last year new, maybe the year before, and I didn't see them at all this year. So I don't know if they've abandoned the idea. Makes perfect sense to make them. I mean, M&M's is basically like slightly Smarties, really. You know, it's just they're basically Smarties almost in some respects. The chocolate ones, especially, of course. You know, it's chocolate covered. A sugar shell surrounding a solid chocolate centre. I think there's might be a biscuit crunch in some of them. Don't think there's a biscuit crunch in these. I think there's a solid chocolate. I remember. Not too bad, basically, these ones. I don't think there's anything. I think, you know, yeah. I think they were okay. They were nothing. They were just middle of the road, really. These ones. M&M's just in a sort of egg shaped. You know, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, to sort of. You know, it's not going to. Yeah, as I say, I can't really even say what to say about them. They're just M&M's with, you know, in egg shaped form, really. I think pretty much a B. You know, they were nice. There was nothing wrong with them. I don't remember them being anything outlandish. I don't remember them being unpleasant anyway. Anything weird about them. Yeah, they did exactly what they did, and they did it well enough. Yeah, okay. So I got the mini eggs now. So cabbage mini. This is the staple, isn't it? This is as well as the cream egg, the full size cream egg. I think the mini eggs are the sort of like equivalent, really. Some people have said not as good as they used to be. Some people said they used to have dairy milk in them. I don't remember them containing dairy milk, to be honest with you. And I think for me, it's always been about the sugar shell. It has a funny texture to it. It's almost powdery. It's got a nice taste to it as well. It's something a bit different. It's the sugar shell that does it for me. That's what's distinct about them. They're basically solid chocolate with a sugar shell on the outside. They come in pastel colours. You know, they weren't not overly colourful this year, the one I had, because they only about 2 yellow ones in, like sort of like a pink and purple and a white, I think. So they were a bit dim when I had them, you know, so because of the lack of the yellow ones. But very nice. Yeah, very nice. As I say, very distinct. Not the sugar shell is completely different than all the others, really. I mean, well, I guess, you know, obviously the Terry's ones, as I said, was a bit rubbish, and the Milky Bar one was a bit, you know, but yeah, these ones just really, the sugar shell is what does it for me, really. And I think the nice crunch of the chocolate, it's not dairy milk, but it still seems to, it pulls it off, having a decent chocolate taste. Yeah, I like these. I think they're really good. I don't think they're quite as good as you'd think they were, but as a treat, as an Easter product, not too bad. I think when I rated them recently, I gave them quite a middling rating. But as mini eggs goes, and this is what this is about, of course, and we are ranking the mini eggs here. You know, I definitely think it's higher than the B. I think it's in the A rank for sure. Definitely think it's in the A rank, this one. Yeah, the pretty solid, pretty nice, as I say, pretty distinct, and they're a staple of Easter, those ones, definitely. I think in the old days of old, you probably would have said they were an S rank, but I don't think they're quite up there, really. I think they are nice, definitely. And A's is still a good rank, as I say, definitely still good. Now then, we've got these Aero mini, mint peppermint versions, essentially. Now, I haven't had these this year, I must confess. It's been a while since I had them, but I did have the, what they call it? It was like was it the same ones? I'm not sure, did I have... They do an equivalent sort of almost, just sort of spheres, basically. I think I had them recently. I'm not sure. I know I still got to review them. I think I did have them as well. Yeah, Aero mint chocolate's never really done it for me, I must say. I mean, I think a couple of people like Andrew Winter Scotty in the comments were talking to me about it, saying now they prefer this and things. It could be because they've just dismissed the milk chocolate equivalent, because normally Aero milk chocolate is not that great. It's too as I say, the bubbles in it are too thick, and it makes the chocolate taste a bit too solid and things. It just doesn't. Nestle sort of chocolate's not great, but in the mini egg form, because it's there's less of it, and the bubbles are so much thinner and nicer. It's really velvety. It's lovely, really. Yeah, but I think for me, I don't know, just mint chocolate doesn't really do it for me. It's just not. I mean, it's one of those. If it does it for you, then great. I mean, but for me, it doesn't generally do it for me. Not unpleasant or anything. I just don't. it just does. I mean, sometimes like after eights and things, you know, I've got a place for them always, and you know, pyramids back in the day, as you remember those. When I'm in the mood, you know, like even the mint matchmakers, you know, but I always prefer the orange ones. You know what I mean? I think the mint ones for me, I don't know, you know, they're just not quite. Um, they're okay. I think for me, you know, it's probably. I think for me, they are a C tier really for me. They're just, you know, they're not quite. I prefer to have all the ones in B basically. Is it just it? I think, you know, could argue that maybe this Kinder one here, but as I said, they're a bit different those ones. Could argue that maybe they're possibly be a C, but they were a bit different. Just had a crunching milky sense, you know, a bit different than the rest. Yeah, so there we are. So then we've got these, yes, orange chocolate Smarties now. So the orange ones, yeah, basically, well, gist of it is that sort of, you know, yeah, it's essentially the same as the regular Smarties ones, but the orange ones have a different flavour to them because they're the only ones that have a sort of slight chocolate orangey taste. You know, it's one of those where I was thinking, am I imagining this or not? But I think they do. I think they generally do have a different taste. You know, not bad actually. They're not too bad at all. They are pretty tasty. I think I might have to move just in case I do give them a move me up a bit there so I can get a bit more space. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, so I think for me, you know, I think they probably I'd struggle to give them an A rating. I think they are nice though, but I just don't think that orange taste pushes them up to be an A rank. Especially some of these A rank ones, I don't know. Some of them are only just there, and these would only just be there. I don't know. Could I give them an A really? I don't really think I. Don't know. You know, I don't really. I mean, yeah, they're not bad though. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just trying to think. Would I prefer to have them than the others on that list? Would I prefer to have them than Terry's chocolate orange? You know what I mean? But that Terry's chocolate orange, as I said, did have the funny shell. I think the chocolate in Terry's chocolate orange ones as well is better. I'd say the funny shell, you know, and there's something a bit nice about these, refreshing. You know, they're quite plain, a bit like the mini eggs themselves. You know what I mean? There's nothing massively outstanding about them. I mean, you know, the Cadbury's mini, but there's something about them that's just quite distinct. And I think you could argue these ones are as well, but I don't know whether I could give them an A rating. But looking at it, you know, I think, well, yeah, I wouldn't mind them. Could quite happily have them. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to plonk them there. You know, it's one of those. I think again, it's probably an A stroke B. You know, there might need to really be another layer in between these A's and B's. You know, that might be what it is. You know, might be needing another layer, but I don't know. Where do you draw the line? You can't keep doing that. You know, you'd be here forever, really, wouldn't you? But there's some of these are definitely better than others. I think, you know, but you know, it's one. That's the point of it, isn't it? That's the point of it. I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say they're an A1. I just think there's something about those that's just a bit different. You know what I mean? It's quite exciting, you know, having the orange Smarties. You know, it's quite interesting. I mean, as I say, unfortunately, the Terry's chocolate ones, it's just that shell was just a bit too, you know, it just really detracted from it, really. It doesn't make me want to have them that as much, really. Okay, so now we've got the Reeses mini eggs. Well, Reeses, I mean, I don't know how Reeses do it really. They've got one gimmick, which is their peanut butter, but they've managed to produce so many different variants of their chocolate peanut butter. You know, peanut butter cups. Even done so many different peanut butter cups. The giant ones, half-pound ones. There's mini eggs as well. As say the full-size eggs. They've done their fast break bar, which is gorgeous. They've done their Reese's sticks, which is basically like a KitKat, but it's gorgeous as well. Well, yeah. Is it like a KitKat? Sort of like yeah, it's a bit bigger though, a bit like a cross between a KitKat and a KitKat chunky almost, like two-fingered still, but yeah, lovely anyway, lovely. Done a few other things as well, Nutrageous bar, a few other ones, I can't think of what they are. They've done loads of them. I don't know how they managed to do so many different types. Obviously the you know, the mini eggs is basically just a chocolate covered egg with the peanut butter, sort of peanut butter in there. I'm not a big fan of peanut butter generally. It's not something that appeals to me. You know, particularly, well, I've tried it actually. I do eat peanuts, but generally sort of like salty peanuts, and I'm not a massive fan of them. You know, but when they're there, I'll eat them. But peanut butter doesn't generally do it for me. You know, but these Reese's peanut butter ones are so full of sugar basically that actually taste quite nice, but they're not healthy at all. But they actually taste really nice, and I do like it actually. And it doesn't taste so much of. It's just very unique. It doesn't really taste of peanuts. It has. You can tell it's peanut related, but yeah, it's not the strongest taste of peanuts. I do really like these actually. I don't think they're going to blow your socks off. I think it's I don't think it's an A. Really, I think Reese's peanut butter. Some of their products are really nice. Reese's sticks, as I say, the fast break bar, gorgeous bars. I think the peanut butter, cups and things are good solid chocolate offerings. And for that reason, I think it's a B. I don't think they're going to blow your socks off or anything, but they are nice, those. And a good quantity there as well, good quantity. So now then we go on to the Cadbury's White last. By no means least, possibly least. Yes, possibly by means is least. Do we need an E ranking for this one? It's just a terrible product, this. Terrible product. It's terrible. It's got a terrible foundation because Cadbury's white chocolate isn't great. It's not a real appeal. But they've managed to mess that up. Not only have they've not even delivered on what it's meant to be. It's actually got like a hazelnut noisette, praline, truffle, whatever you want to say, centre. Hazelnut. Where's hazelnut come from? What's that got to do with Cadbury's White? What on earth has that got to do with Cadbury's White? Why is that there? If you bought Cadbury's White mini eggs, what would you be expecting? A mini egg with Cadbury's White in it. It's not a Cadbury's White shell with hazelnut praline in it. It's not even a white chocolate praline. It's a milk chocolate praline. It's just, what on earth is that about? So you'd expect something like a sugar shell with Cadbury's White in it, or just a solid Cadbury's White, or something with Cadbury's White in it, whatever it is, even if it's a hazelnut praline outside or whatever, still. I think that's important. I think that wouldn't work very well at all. But even if they did that, still have Cadbury's White as the main thing. But it's not. It's a hazelnut praline to me. That's the main taste. So they've managed to mess it up. So not only have they based it on something that's not very good anyway, but at least what you'd be expecting is a Cadbury's mini egg, I think, filled with white chocolate, something like that. Just even if it's still labelled as Cadbury's White, not labelled as mini eggs or like white chocolate mini eggs. That's the kind of thing you'd be expecting, I think, or something like that. But I don't know how they've managed to do what they did. I don't know who came up with this idea. I don't know what they were doing that day. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know. I'm not going to wish ill on anyone, but clearly this person doesn't know what they're doing. Whoever came up with this idea and whoever signed it off doesn't know what they're doing. A terrible product. If this is here next year, I'll be very surprised. Monkey's uncle. It'd just be terrible. It's really just a poor product. It's a poor foundation, poor idea, poor delivery, poor everything. There's nothing good about this product at all. It's the worst on the list, I think, pretty much by far. In every way, shape, or form, it's misguided and terrible. It's a D rank for sure. So there we go. Terrible, terrible product. Right, well, there we go. We got to the end there. Yeah, so quite a lot of talking points there. Possibly some controversies there, or controversies, how you want to pronounce it. Generally it looks okay. I think there's definitely some bad ones over. Yeah, the C rank list is not as filled as others. You'd think it'd be a bit more of a curve down, wouldn't you? Really, maybe a couple more from the D rank in the C rank. Maybe that's how it should be. I don't know, but I'm not so sure. I think that's probably about right. Really, some in the B and A maybe slightly interchangeable, but I think generally, given the choice, if it asks for what I want, this would probably be the order I'd have them, really. So very interesting, very nice. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. But let me know what you think, of course. Yeah, we've probably been chatting about it. Let me know what you think, though, if you haven't, if you're watching it later on. Leave a comment or free. Let me know what your idea of, mini egg heaven is. Mini egg Shangri-La, mini egg Eldorado. Yes. Let me know what you think. Yeah, it'd be good to hear what your favourite mini eggs are, whether you agree with this tier list or not, where you'd put them, what rank you'd have. Leave a comment or free. And subscribe if you haven't already. You know the drill by now. Yes, subscribe, click the bell for all the other stuff as well. Check out the member program, Discord chat as well, of course. Check that out if you fancy keeping the chat going. Check out the Discord channel, links in the description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that Tiermaker, and hope if you watched it, as I say, as part of the premiere, I hope you enjoyed the chat, and let me know if you like that sort of thing. I'll try and do more of them in the future. If so, just generally give me feedback. Always great to hear from you. Have a great day. If you celebrate Easter, have a good one. If you don't, have a great long weekend. If you're not having a long weekend, have a great weekend. If you're not having a weekend at all because you're working whatever, well, I hope it goes well for you, and fingers crossed you get some time off at some point. Well done for your hard work. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye. See ya.